Well, g'day everyone. Today I wanted to talk to you about a gimbal that Moza had sent me, and it's the new Aircross 3. In fact, I have the Aircross 2, and I even had the original Aircross, and I love all of them due to the fact that they are so much more lightweight than what the heavier gimbals are, like the Air, for instance. And if you're using cameras particularly that aren't too heavy, the Aircross are fantastic. They also have a feature too, like the Aircross 2 and I think the 3 is going to be able to work with the Moza slide pod as well, which I'll do a video at a later date and show you how that works as well. First of all, I thought I'd show you how small this gimbal actually is. So this is the gimbal here. It's actually smaller than or around the size of an A4 sheet of paper. So this is terrific to take away and stick in your travel bag or your suitcase or whatever you wanted to take it with, because it will fit in this folded up position. And that's one great thing about this. Often if I'm traveling, I find it hard to fit traditional gimbals in. That's one of the great features about this. And I'll show you the sort of specifications a little bit about this in a minute. But I wanted to show you the size of this. You can take the handle off. Obviously, if you put the handle on, it's going to be a little bit larger, but you can just screw this off for travel and take it off and leave it this way, which is great. I'll talk about the build quality and everything a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you this to start with. Let me just take you through a little bit about this gimbal just before I show you some footage, and I will show you some footage I've actually captured and sort of show you some other things as well. But I'm just going to scroll down and show you the way that this works. So it's basically, it says it's foldable and transformable, and I've showed you how that works in the fact that you can completely change the way that this looks. And what you're looking at here is that's in its normal form, but then if you undo this latch, then you can actually fold the handle completely back, which makes the gimbal be able to work very, very low. I'll show you down here. You can also have it in this underslung mode as well, which is called great, or it's called the sling mode. And that way you can get right down to the ground and still be holding it up with the handle, and it's much more comfortable to use it in that position. The next thing you can do too is called the dual handle mode. So if you have two handles, you can actually hold one up here and one down the bottom there, which makes it even better to hold. You just have to get another handle, or it doesn't have to be the one from Moza. It can be any type of handle. The grip extension is how you could use this with something like a slide pod, something like that. And like I said, I'll show you that in a later video, how that all works. So it's just a terrific system. It's very, very flexible. If you come down here to the size, just to show you here, this is an A4 sheet of paper, so it gives you an idea about how small the actual unit is. Like I said, it's great for just taking away, that's for sure. Payload of this is 3.2 kilograms, so it will fit an A7S III and say a 24 GM, something like that, or a Tamron 28-75. It will do that. I've found, though, it works best with something like an A6400, and that's what I've done the whole shoot with, that I'm going to show you a little bit later on. It works perfectly for APS-C type cameras. If I'm going to use more heavy gear, I would tend to use, say, the Moza Air 2, because I love those sort of bigger gimbals, so I'd use that. But if you did only have one gimbal, this will work with it. They're showing here that, it'll work with Sony, Nikon, Canon, and also the APS-C type cameras, and that's what I've actually used. Now, you can do vertical mode with this as well. That's one great feature with this. You can just undo it and then push it in sideways like that, and you can then do vertical mode for things like Instagram and stuff like that. So if you want to shoot vertical, you certainly can do that with this gimbal exactly as it is. You can see there how he's changing the rotation. The power supply, it actually lasts for up to 20 hours, so it really does last a long time. Now, it is an internal battery, but you can charge that through your port here. So if you are charging it, it will go and work while you're charging it, say with a battery bank or something like that. It charges up completely in 1.4 hours, so it is a very, very quick charge. Now, it shows you here that it's got a 3500 mAh battery, and it has a 9-volt 2A fast charging rate. Now, the tracking is going to be cool. They're going to bring out a feature soon. You can see what he does. He attaches it there, and then you can use hand controls to make it record. You can see it's got a little like sensor at the front there, right there I'll leave it here, right there. And then you just plug that into the bottom of the unit, and then you can use these hand gestures. Now, you can also do something called stable tracking as well. I think it uses things like face detection and body detection, etc., to track your subject as it's moving along. So that's another feature that this is going to come with at a later date. It means that you're not going to have to, say, put the phone on the top like some other gimbals and things like that. It's going to track just from that small unit that you attach. So I can't wait to actually get that. Just to sort of show you the body, it is all metal. The build quality on this gimbal is amazing. It's all metal. A whole lot of it is metal. So it's terrific. And I think that's one really good aspect about this. Sometimes you can find some gimbals are a little bit of a plastic type feel. Well, this is very, very solid, and it feels very, very robust. So yes, it may weigh a little bit more, but you know that the build quality is really good. You can see here too how this is the underslung mode, where he's got the actual handle through here, and you can see that then you can get down nice and low without having to bend too low. So this here is the design of the actual gimbal, or the interface. It has a LED small screen here, and you have one shut and button to control for all. So it will do things like record, etc. It will record video on my A6-400 and the A7S III, so it did record video on those. You also have your mode button, and like I said, you've got a joystick here and your on-off button on the side through here as well. Now, it does come with a whole range of leads that you can use to connect it to your camera, so that's a good option. You don't have to pay for those. So what we'll do now is I'll take you through some footage that I shot. It's only 3 minutes. Now, the footage that I've actually captured here was done with the A6-400. It was on 4K, and it was on 24p. No stabilization has been added in post, and the footage basically is as it's been recorded, just with a little bit of color correction that's been added as well. So we'll look at that now.
Smiles does it take to be happy? How many times do you have to feel lonely before you get the chance to meet someone, before you get to meet someone like you? How many songs can you write about heartbreak? How to go when you're fed up with mistakes? Maybe I just found the answers. Maybe I just found the answers in you. Come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand, you're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Take me away. I'm okay if I got you. We don't have to stay. We can do what we want to. Just give a little bit of your heart. Give a little bit of your heart to me. All of my scars start to heal when I'm with you, and I can't explain how I feel when I'm with you. Just give a little bit of your heart. Give a little bit of your heart to me. Just come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand, you're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh. take me away. I'm okay if I got you. We don't have to stay. We can do what we want to. Baby, I just found the answers. Baby, I just found the answers in you.
Okay, so let me know what you think about the footage. I think it's terrific. Like I said, considering there's no stabilisation that's been added to that at all, it's worked very, very well. All right, so what I thought I'd do is I'd show you the design of the gimbal. So you can see here, I've just stuck it on a tripod mount actually. You can see here, this is the interface that I'll show you shortly. So I'll go through that in a minute. This is the lock that will undo the top handle and then that will fall down. So I'll show that too. It does say here the right side up, so you can't get mixed up with which way you put this gimbal onto the actual mount. So as long as this is facing this way and up, it's going to be the correct way. There is a USB here. This is where I connected my camera to the actual gimbal itself. So I go from the camera into this mounting point here. There's another one at the front too here. Now down here, this is the USB charging port. You can also see that there's a cold shoe mount here. So if you wanted to stick something on here like the wireless Go, that can just clip into there, which is a really nice feature. All of these are little handles that you can just pull off and then you can move this backwards and forwards. So it's very, very easy to mount. I'm not going to show that, but it is very, very easy the way that this works. You can see that there's another one here as well. And there's also one here that you can see there too. Now, the way that this locks is terrific. They have these little clips down here. So these little clips are fantastic. So there's one here. There's also one underneath there. There's one also here as well. So to undo these, all you do is flick them. So it's a very, very easy system to unlock all of these. For instance, if I want to go that way, then you'll see that it then can move backwards and forwards. If I click it back again, it will then lock. Same with this one down here. If I lock that back, it will lock there as well. So that's a terrific system. So while you're balancing, you can lock these very, very easily. I've got the camera actually sitting on an Arca Swiss plate, so I can get it off very, very easily without having to undo it. There is a little latch here that you undo and that can move this forward and backwards, so that's a good way of balancing it from that aspect as well. And then you just lock it forward if you want to make sure that it's not going to come out at all. You can see there's an on-off switch here. Now you also have a switch at the front here, and I'll show you how that works. And this is your unlock that lets the gimbal go backwards. You can also see the cold shoe mount here as well. So now let's look at the interface of the gimbal. If you just turn the side button on here, you'll see that the gimbal actually starts up. Now when you're doing it, it will come up and show you on here that you'll get a battery indicator over here. This is showing you if Bluetooth connected, and it'll show you whether your camera is connected. I haven't got the camera connected at the moment. This is just a joystick. This here will change your mode. So what we'll look at first is we'll look at the pan mode. So the pan mode will just do this. So there's no up and down movement. You can see that it's locked there. So I'm going to click the mode button and then it will go on to pan and tilt. So this time if I go across, you'll see it will move that way, but also it will go up and down as well. So that's how you can do that mode. If I click the mode again, it will go into FPV mode. Now FPV mode is basically free on all axes, so it will move wherever you want it to go and also include tilting as well. Now if I triple click on the mode button, it will go into inception mode. So you can see that there. Now I just use the joystick then to rotate the camera around. So that's how that works. If I triple click again, it will go back to its normal position. Now if I wanted to say do a selfie of myself, I'll use the front button. So if I go 1, 2, 3, it will then move back to me like that. If I go 2 again, it will move back. Now at any time if you are in a different position with this, say for instance I've done some work like that, if I double press onto the front here on that button, it will go back to its normal position. So that's how that works. Also if I hold the front down, it will go into full lock mode. So that's great too, as a quick way of moving from say pan and tilt to full lock mode by just locking that front part down. So if you have got your camera connected, one press of this will start recording. If you hold it for 2 seconds, it will take a still image. Now to get your speed, what you do is you press the power button on the side here, and you'll see that the speed then will go up or down. So then it will start at the beginning. So that's the slowest, and obviously you can have it working the quickest if you put it on that end there. So it's very, very easy to use. If you hold the menu down, you then get into all of the settings that the gimbal will give you. I'm not going to go through all of these, but this is how you would set your motor strengths, do your auto calibration and things like that, but I'll show you some of these through the app. Okay, so you can see here that this is how you use your joystick. If you move it on the left hand side, it'll go left. You can also go up and down. Okay, so let's see how the old guy can run. I'm going as fast as I can here, but it looks pretty steady actually. Then I turned around and went the opposite way and ran towards my beautiful wife, Kerry. So here I just wanted to show the control. It's the Mimic control from the iPhone, and it basically just follows you around as you're moving your phone. So it's quite a handy feature. You can get some really interesting effects. You can also make it go slower and things like that, but I just wanted to show this moving fast so you could get an idea of how it actually functioned. So this is how you can use the gimbal in its other mode. You just undo that handle there and then you pull it back like it is here. Now this gives you the ability to use it, say, in underslung mode like this, and you don't have to bend down, which is fantastic. You can see me just holding the handle up the top there, but you can get so low with it this way. It's really amazing. So you can also see how low this is if you put the stand down. You really can get this down low, which is great. This gives you an idea about how the handle is. You can see the locking switch there as well. Okay, so let's have a look at how the app works. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the Moza Master app. Now when it does that, it will give you a whole list of different devices that Moza have. So I'm going to open up the Aircross 3, and then you'll see here it's going to come up. If I just connect there, it will then connect. Now then this comes up. Now it tells you the battery level up the top. It will also tell you what cable you're going to be connecting through if you have your camera connected. Now these are your controls that you've got all through here. Now I'll show you them sort of individually, but there's a remote control. Now what that will do is it just moves the gimbal if you shift this around. And then you can recenter from this. You can change your speed from here. At the moment it's on maximum speed, but you can go down really slow and then it would move really, really slow. Your mimic motion is what I showed you before, where I was controlling it by just moving the phone. So that's what that is. And if I had it at any sort of setting through here, I can just press recenter and it goes right back to the beginning. Now you can record here, take photos or do selfie as well. Like if I click on that, it's going to move the camera around back to me. Oh, if I go back to recenter, it will take it back. So let's look at the next one. This is your gimbal settings. You've got motor settings through here. Now if I click in there, you can check all different settings for your motor as well. Like if you come into here, you can set these manually if you want to. I'm just going to come back out. And now you can also do auto tuning. So if I click on this, it will now auto tune. Now what auto tune does, it just sets the motor strength for the camera and lens that you're using. So this is a great way of doing it. Now you should do this every time you change cameras or lenses on it. Now it only takes a few seconds, so it doesn't take that long to go right through the whole system, but it balances the whole thing for you. You can also change all your follow mode settings. You can change through here, so it's whether it's tilt follow, FPV, or pan follow through here. You can change your follow speed as well. So that's where you can change that setting that I showed you before. At the moment it's on the slowest setting, or you could go up to the fastest setting if you wanted to through here as well. Let me just come back. Joystick sensitivity, you can change how much the joystick moves. You can also reverse the joystick as well. The sensitivity will control how fast it moves through there. Let me come back. Advanced settings in here. You can calibrate your gimbal through this as well. You can also tune it if the horizon is off level as well, so you can do that too. And this is where you'll upgrade the firmware if you want to do that. Lastly, about in this section, it just tells you your firmware version and what the app version is here. Now if I come back, if I show you creative video, This is where you can do things like your time lapse. I haven't had the time to do these yet, but I certainly will over the time. You can do track recording, where it will move over certain areas as it's recording it. Variable speed time lapse, panoramic photography as well, so you can do panoramic shots, and fixed point time lapse as well. Like I said, I haven't really looked into this, but it looks like you've got a lot of creative control here as well. The inception mode, will just turn it into inception mode like I showed you before. If I click the inception mode, it'll go back. Sleep will just put it to sleep, and you'll recenter, just recenters it back. And that's really it. So it's a very nice full-featured type of app that's really easy to use. So I think you can see that it's a very, very full-featured gimbal. It really has everything that you need, particularly if you want to travel not too heavy and be carrying around a very, very large gimbal with you. If you have any questions with this, let me know down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Moza, for sending me this. I'm really happy with it, and I'll certainly be using it, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting the extra features that do the tracking and things like that. So stay tuned for a video on that. I also will do a video with the Moza SlidePod as well, so stay tuned for that. And apart from that, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.